Okay, test. Cool. All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Hopefully I didn't say anything too horrific on my microphone. Dear friend of mine has torn his Achilles, so I've been making fun of him, trying to get him sent to the glue factory here as soon as possible. But besides that, hopefully everyone is having themselves a fantastic morning. You guys are feeling sharp, refreshed, and ready to go for what should hopefully be an interesting Friday. For those of you who are watching the live stream, obviously, how is the chat? Is everything working as expected with the chat? If you were to go full screen, close the chat, bring it back up, is everything kind of working as expected? Kind of the last key feature that people are sort of getting stuck with. Everything looks okay. Okay, so the pop out doesn't connect, but everything else works fine. And if you just close the regular chat and then open it back up, it loads no problem. Okay, I mean, that's reasonable. Kind of works like a pop-up anyway. Okay, so the chat history is still gone. Okay. Okay, but if you close it and then open it back up, all the messages are gone. Okay. All right. I'll fix that this weekend. I thought I fixed that last night. Apologies for that here, guys. We'll get that sorted out. Other thing here, just to mention very quickly, I think this was a great feature request by someone. But in the performance analysis page, when you are in an eval account or when you're in a funded account, you can now set the date which your funded account or your eval account started, right? So if you say you started your evaluation on Monday, You can say, hey, I started my eval on Monday, set that as your date, and then all the analysis that you're getting from that tab will be specific to the trades that you took in your funded account or took in your eval account. Hopefully that's a good feature for you guys and gives you a little bit more clarity, a little bit more context basically over some of your trading decisions. But please take a look at that in the performance analysis tab, right? Performance analysis tab. So that should be working as expected. Again, let me know if there's any little glitches and bugs. But that should be there for everybody to use. Excuse me. Besides that, everything is seemingly coming together really nicely. There's still a few glitches with some paper trading. So when people are submitting some of their paper trades, if they constantly are submitting their trade history, it's creating a few like P&L miscalculations or whatever. So taking care of that, trying to figure that out as well. But ironically, trying to get the paper trading statistics to be spot on has been the most complicated thing I've had to work on in this project, which is, yeah, it makes me laugh. All right. Besides that, economic calendar here today, reasonable. We got some Fed speak, pretty much. That's it. Nothing here at 10. Nothing here. What date did you set it at, Sutton? You're not going to have any trades uploaded here today, right? So if you're set your date for today, right, it's going to have the wrong date. If you save your settings, right, and you change it to a previous day, it'll be just fine. Anyway, I'm not going to deal with tech issues right now, but I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up here on, yeah, some feature updates or whatever. But let's get after it. So first things first here, ES, green candle, big volume, gap down. So 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume sweet. We're looking at a 930 as our target here as to the upside, then pushing back up towards all-time highs. So, I mean, I just loaded up the page here too, Sutton, by the way, right? And I've got my eval started, or my funded account started yesterday, and it's showing me yesterday's P&L. If I were to set it as Monday, it's showing me my week-to-date P&L. So from my end, it looks like it's working exactly as expected. If you have no data or you haven't uploaded trades or you've set the date to be today and you haven't uploaded a trade, that's where that error is going to come from. And so it appears to be working exactly as expected. Okay, to the downside here, we're looking at a move towards what, 890. Okay. Sweet, 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 sweet. Again, I don't think I need to go all the way down to 770. Probably not going to happen, but we'll save ourselves some prep here for tomorrow. Sweet. All right. NQ. A little bit different to ES, right? Red candle, increasing volume, gap down. So technically a weak 3 for 3 to the downside. Okay. And then we're looking for a move down towards 25,400. So that's going to be our starting point. Again, round it up or down to the nearest round number. We're at 85, right? So we'll call that 400. To the upside, you're looking at yesterday's 900. So go 800, 900, fine. And yeah, I don't need to change too much here. Sweet. Okay. CL 3 for 3 to the downside again. A little bit more space than yesterday. Yesterday was down like 3% pre-market. To the upside, you're looking at a 58.50. Again, I'd be shocked if I trade CL here today, but you never know. And then our prop firm limit here. Sometimes trading view is so finicky. Going to be 55. So we're at 57.50. So yeah, 55 makes sense. Cool. Okay, Apple red candle. Health that's increasing, just barely increasing, gap down. So 3 for 3 to the downside. Week 3 for 3 looks a lot more like NQ than it does ES. Tesla 1 for 3. Microsoft 1 for 3 to the upside this time. Amazon, little inside bar. Okay, AMD, green candle, increasing volume, gap down. So 2 out of 3 with volume. NVIDIA, green candle, increasing volume, technically a gap up, 7 cents. I week, so 3 for 3. Meta 652.71. Green candle, decreasing volume, gap down, so 1 for 3. Netflix inside bar. Okay, Google red candle, increasing volume, gap up, so 2 out of 3 to the downside with vol. And then VIX actually surprisingly 14.95. So like kind of the market sell off. And then like yeah, market selling off, VIX is under 15. Kind of doesn't tell us the exact same story. So Dave, you're asking, would you explain why you go over prop firm limits with CL? Yeah, so they just have a lot of prop firms basically just have a rule with crude oil where if it's down 5% from its open and you place a trade, they will basically invalidate your account for trading outside of their limits. So prop firms basically just have internal risk limits that they have set up for specific securities. CL's triggers at 5%. And if you place any orders once it's down 5%, it puts your account into breach. So I don't want people breaching their accounts. So want them to know what the limits are. And that's why we go over it. Any other questions? Anyone else got any questions? Yeah. I mean, yes and no. They still look very similar, right? So it's still a very similar candle shape, very similar candle profile, very similar distance to overnight or sorry to all-time highs. The overnight price action is telling us the same story. So the divergence is not that dramatic, right? It's still like they look like cousins more than they look like sisters, right? But you could still tell they're the same family type thing. So yeah, like it's I wouldn't say that it's a early indication of potential chop. I would say the better indication of potential chop, right, is just the various stories you're seeing on the individual names. Like you're seeing not very many names that are quote unquote trending or giving us trending pre-market counts. And so that's probably a better indication of there being indecision because indexes, they look the same besides the color of yesterday's candle. So I don't want to put too much stock into that. Any other questions here, team? Everyone feeling good this morning? Beautiful. Gold indicator. What do you mean? What indicator did I use on the gold ticker? Is that what you're asking? Right click? I don't really trade gold, but my charts are set up exactly how you see here. I wouldn't add a different indicator. I just trade the opening range breakout, and that's what my chart is set up as by default. Yeah, I'm doing okay, Johnny. I'm a little bit tired here end of the week. It's been another long, busy, hard-working week, but getting there. It'll be a good Friday. I'm kind of stuck a little bit because it's winter. You know, it's kind of starting to be the snow season, but the mountain's not getting enough snow here yet to like open up more than just like a couple runs. So it's a little bit sad just not being able to get yeah, not able to get the laps I've been hoping for, but we'll be fine one of these days. One of these days we'll get a big dump and it'll get nice and cold, and I'll be able to go snowboarding. No, I'm not in North California or Northern California. I'm in Canada. I live in a place called Whistler, Canadian mountain town, about 2 hours away from Vancouver. Hope they pay you, Johnny. It's quite the service to give to people early morning. Yeah, I love Whistler. Whistler's awesome. Yeah, like East Coast has been getting really good snow. Like if it isn't snowing once you're in Vancouver or like that area, it just honestly rains nonstop and it's just so gray and uh kind of miserable that you want it to start snowing instead of it raining, because I mean my dog, he needs his exercise regardless, and I come back smelling like a wet towel. So it'd be nice to at least get a bit of snow because it's a bit more pleasant to spend your days in. All right, so first candle, pretty good volume, right? All things considered, pretty good open. Not the world's biggest range we've seen here this week, but 53 points on the 2-min time frame, still going to give us profit targets that are 100 points plus away. So, guys, when you're uploading your files, right, we should not have to be changing any columns, right? So, if you just download your order history from TradingView, like I tested this yesterday. So, if I were to just, right, I took a trade last night. If I were to just go paper trading, export data, orders or order history, either one of those options will give me a like it'll work exactly how I expect when I upload my file. We don't need to change anything, guys, right? So like if we're changing stuff, that's gonna break it. So we need to, we need to stop doing that because it's causing me a lot of extra headache. Right? It's designed so you just download your file and you upload it. You don't need to do anything else. It's smart enough to pull your P&L. If your stop loss is in your order history, it's smart enough to track that. So guys, yeah, stop messing around with it and changing things because that's what's screwing up your imports. Is that understood by everybody? Yes? Right? Like the whole point of this is for it to be as easy for you guys as possible and for it to give me all the information that I need. Right? So I'm not making a fancy service to give you guys more friction. I have made this to try to be as easy as humanly possible. All you got to do is upload your file and you have journaled. That's it. Right? Don't need to complicate it more than that. Yeah, smaller range than we've seen kind of so far this week, but 53 points is still pretty big. So we're okay. We have a chance here for increasing volume on this candle. Oh, love that, Gary. You going hotter or are you going colder when you're sleeping? Kind of hard to think of life without it now, eh? I freaking love my 8 sleep. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm at -10. Okay, no increasing volume on that candle. Candle didn't close and hold outside of the opening range. So we have a setup, but a setup that is missing confirmation. So nothing to trade here yet. Oh, interesting. I do the shake up or whatever they call it, the vibration. Okay, still kind of watching this. Not sure if this is on quite the volume pace I would need or would expect. Yeah, Ron. The only absolute in trading is that my next loss is coming. So yeah, I don't know if the market always reverses at 10:30 Eastern. I don't know, but I'd be careful with those absolutes. Again, maybe a little bit unlikely for us. Yeah, I'd probably even say on the 80% of the time is probably very, very aggressive. If it was that case, everyone would just trade that, right? Trade that move and the market would stop. So not enough volume, right? On the 3-min. So again, same thing like the 2, we have a setup, but we're missing confirmation with that increasing outlier volume. Not going to happen on the 3-min, I don't think, with a minute to go. No offense, Ron. There's no new ideas left in the market. So I would say that people do know about it. So, guys, if we're on the chat, right, don't use the community chat for discussions during the live stream, right? That's not going to be monitored. So, if people are asking questions there, if people are looking for feedback there, you're not going to get it. We have, in the same way it was in Discord, we have a specific chat for the live stream. Please use that one. That's the only one that's monitored during the trading day, at least by me. So if you want your questions answered, you ask them there. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say the market has been particularly slow here so far. It just hasn't given us the volume increase that we want. There is no data that we're waiting for, but we've got about 100 points of range here so far, 9 minutes in. That's not slow. Well, it's a week 3 for 3. And we're within striking distance of all-time highs. So I would say that it's a two-way tape, not a bullish or bearish bias. So it's planned two ways. Yeah, but Ron, my feedback would still be the same, right? Like I trade this every day. Trade this. I mean, I've been trading U.S. markets since I was 19 years old. You know, if it was a executionable strategy and a pattern that you're saying is as strong as it is, everyone would trade it. But that's not the reality. Maybe on this next 3-min candle, we have a chance for increasing volume. Ooh. Maybe that was our warning sign. Now we've got a possible rejection thesis in play. Definitely going to be increasing outliers. We're already there. Well, let's see how she goes. Now we care about this candle shape, right? Is it realistically looking for close like around that low 70s-ish? And again, if I don't get a trade here today, not a big deal, right? Been a good week. Team's done well. We've had pretty strong P&L here from the team across the board. Sitting at like $443,000 in team P&L here so far this week. Pretty good. So if we don't get another trade here today, we're good, right? 100%, Jared. Okay, so we're kind of in indecision mode here on some of these candles. Not a strong enough candle close there at that 942. On this 3-min time frame, again, same thing. Looks more like a doji than like a most bearish candle type. So we're still gonna have to wait for a bit more information here. And remember, as a trader, you get paid for your decisions, not your time. So it doesn't matter how long you've been watching the market. It doesn't matter how the market is moving. The only thing that matters is the quality of your decisions. So we have an edge. We stick to it. That's all we trade. If it doesn't give us our edge, there is no reason to be excited about the markets, right? So, I mean, it would depend, Dave, on the specific language that a consistency rule uses, but the language that you see used for those doesn't, it's not punishing you for not having a trading day. It's just that on the days that you're counting as a profit, they can't be X percent more, right? Or X percent less than whatever. So again, I would recommend reviewing the rules of your prop firm. Those would be made clear to you then and there. Without that extra context, it's really hard to suggest, but it's something that you can control in your own time. Yeah, I mean, 5 men for sure. 30 seconds to go. If it can close strong, absolutely. As close to 50 as possible is kind of the close we want. Okay, 53.75 close is pretty reasonable. So this would give us a downside scenario here. You go 57.25 for now as the stop loss, or where we'd want to see the fake out happen. Above, once we establish the fake out, then we can look for a reference price and start to have some joy. And if it doesn't behave exactly how I want, what's going to be my emotion, or what's going to be my feeling? Okay, but trade smart. What are the setups we trade on the ORB? Is it just a breakout trade, or do we have another setup too? Guys, we're too old to be saying 6-7 in here. Come on. I can't tolerate that. Yeah, right. It would be the fake out scenario, right? So this is a ORB reversal, not a breakout trade. So we don't need it to be below the opening range now, right? Okay, so for now, we're kind of looking at a 70-ish area. Hey, good for you, Ron. I like trading the opening range. But no offense, man. Like, you're here to trade my strategy. You're not here for me to trade yours. So truth be told, don't care. All right, so reference price here would be 60 handle, right? Previous low of that green bar. And we're just looking now at the other time frames, right, to see if there's maybe a better risk reward ratio that we can take advantage of, maybe a more likely entry, right, that we could get a part of. Now we're 30 points away from our entry price pretty quick. So 2 men maybe gives me a better look, right? Here's your confirmation. So again, you'd want to see a little fake out above that 32. All right, guys, focus up here, please. A distracted mind is not a profitable one. And no chance for an entry here yet. They'll want to see that fake out above 32. Okay, let's see if it happens here. Come on. $9.50 only, so still very early. Yeah, so it should still set up for us. This now sets up as a breakout trade. Same thing, right? You want to see a little fake out above now 509-ish. There it is. Now you're looking at a stop loss of about 515. Maybe higher now. Now you're looking at 520. We're starting to type everything in here, right? Getting ready. There's still some potential for some changes. Okay, we're looking at a 525 now. Higher. Again, still no reference price, so I'm not looking for my entry here yet. Okay, so that's now a 529. Okay, pretty good little rejection there. We'll go reference price 519, approximately 10 points away. And then, like I said, I like to split up that reference price into 3 zones, right? First zone, you're looking to see how quickly it pulls in. Second zone, you're kind of looking for your entry. Third zone, if it gets to it, you know you're waiting for another fake out. Moving just a little bit too fast. So it looks like it's probably going to be another fake out here still. I mean, hard to call that a fake out when it closes up and over. So going to have to wait. No entry. That little middle third thing definitely saved me a bit of money. And now we wait again. Slow. How was everyone's execution hygiene there? Everyone was able to wait that one out. Everyone knew what they were waiting for. Good team. Good to hear. All like to hear you're finding that rhythm. And it just takes time, right? Just takes time to build that muscle memory. So for now, kind of setting up an equal move lower, equal move higher type scenario. Kind of my so for me, Great Scott, right? It wasn't pulling back slowly because it was moving more than 1 point at a time, right? It was going from like 62 to 64 to then 66 to then 67.50. Like it wasn't going tick by tick, it was going larger sizing. All right, so again, we have another setup here for a reversal trade, right? Low vol fake out, right? Failed breakdown there to the downside, and then your confirmation separation away from those lows on increasing outlier. We're going to be looking at like a 48 potentially here. Still an inside bar on this candle, so we're not looking too aggressively here yet. Just made a higher high. Now we want to see a gentle pullback. This area, right? Might be a little bit challenging to get, but setting up that for a long 48.50 would be the stop. Let's call it 48, just not simple. We've already seen the fake out here, right? So we don't necessarily need to see that again. Excuse me. We want to see a nice controlled pullback here. Haven't quite gotten that into my zone yet. Oh, come on. Don't get that. 9:55, no 10 a.m. data here of note. Okay, nice and gentle. That was too fast. Right? It went from 58 to 53 guys in 1 second. That's why I knew it was too fast, right? So quick little reset. Now stop loss would be 41 and your reference price would be like 49. Still moving probably a little bit too fast. Like just bouncy, 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 right? Now you're looking at a 39 stop loss. That's a much better bounce. 38.50 would be the stop loss. That was the strength we were looking for. I'll just call it 38 as my stop. And of course, now it doesn't want to give me my entry. Ruthless. I don't know why I got a tickle in my throat here today. Or why? All that time ranting and raving finally catches up to me. So still a big old offer for offer. No trades here yet. Had a couple that have been close. And again, if this thing sets back up, we'll just reset it on the next candle, establish our support, right? It's given us that clear fake out here. We don't necessarily need to be as conservative as we have been. Okay, so still watching here. 38 guys would be the stop loss, right? 38 would be the stop loss. Hey guys, I'm in 45.75. 45.75. Pretty much a perfect entry. literally up 5 points on execution. Let's go. So let's see if this thing can keep pushing through 60 here. But that was perfect. That was perfect. Here's hoping I didn't jinx it. Had that knack this week a little bit. There's 60. Come on. Hmm. Not the most enthusiastic of candles there post entry. Really good initial reaction and then kind of gross. So let's see if we can get over 60 here. And touches 60 and then it dies a little bit. So we want to be careful of that. Come on, go, go, go. Kind of looks like it could be flagging a bit, but the fact that it's not separating makes me worried that I'm early. Didn't like that bounce off of 45 to 50. Oh, this dick. What? That was a ruthless stop loss. Are you kidding me? I should have found my exit just a little bit sooner. No, I wouldn't say that's Friday fuckery. That's Friday greediness. Why would I blame the market when it was my issue that made life more difficult for me? Like I just zoomed in on my screen a little bit for some reason. Okay, so now we're looking at a possible breakout trade. That was mean. Mean, mean, mean. I didn't do a good enough job protecting that win. Not nearly good enough. Which is sloppy. Okay, just not a good enough close there on that 2-min, right? It closed just above the inside or the opening range low, right? So you can see that little gap. So I can't trade that. I got to wait for this on the 3. That was a dumb start. Well, the frustration isn't that it stalled out at 60 and then died. It's that I was up more than 1R and let a 1R win turn into a loss. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really answer that question right now, Noah. I got other things I got to care about. It's just the trade. I'm not going to hyper analyze it right now. I'll have some time once markets are closed or once things are quiet to think about what I could have done better. For now, it's that I had a chance to be green. I didn't take that chance. I was a greedy prick. So how can I now fix that on my next trade, right? It's just a loss, guys. Like, it's not a big deal. If we give it all this power over us, then yeah, it's going to control our decisions. I was happy with the amount I lost, maybe not happy with a little bit of the slippage I got there. But that's life. And we're looking for a little fake out over 517 first. There it is, possibly. Now you're looking stop loss 521. Reference price about here. Maybe 516 is maybe a little bit too tight. We'll go like 513. Just missed, maybe. Yeah, Ron, again, man, I'm going to say this second time here already. Don't care about VWAP, right? It's not part of my strategy. So we're here to, I'm here to trade my own ideas, right? You're here to trade mine too. I don't need any of this feedback or loop. Oh, it's at VWAP or it's at this or it's at whatever, right? It's not what we trade here. So constantly referencing it is fine. But if it's working so well for you, right? Why are you here learning a new strategy? So please don't cause FOMO for other people. Not going to say it again. Next comment will lead to a ban. Yeah, 5 minutes for sure in play. Nice little breakout setup. Again, we want to see a little fake out over that 490-ish area, approximately. Yeah, you're looking at a 499 stop loss for now. A reference price around that 90 zone. Again, watch the speed of this pullback here. Hey guys, I'm in 491.50. Ugh, don't like that entry right away. Let's see if it can go. Went like good entry to 89 to the 95, which is not what you're kind of hoping for. Let's see if this thing can crack now, though. Better. All right. So I was about 15 seconds early on my entry there. Okay, but that should put you guys nicely green on the day. There's 2,300. Let's see if this thing can keep selling off here, get through the low 60s, and then we're in great shape. Come on, keep pushing. I'm not going to make the same mistake I made on that last trade, right? So I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive in protecting this win. But finding that balance between holding it, trusting my thesis, but then not giving it up. So we're going to let this candle give us as much follow through as it can, but so far so good. How did you get stopped out at 99? There's no way. There's literally no way. Nice work, Kiki. Hey, awesome. Amazing. Skiing? Yeah, let me focus on this first because I'm still in a trade. All right, let's see if this thing can crack through 50, guys. Let's see if this thing can crack through 50. Come on, keep going. Boom. There it goes, guys. Low 40s. And I'm out. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. 43.50, 43.50, all out. Closing it. Good P&L number. 4,800 bucks on that trade. I do not need to do anything too crazy. Two reasons why I primarily closed that. One, caught myself feeling distracted. No one's fault but my own because I'm an idiot responding to questions. But a really, really nice little bounce back trade there. Let's go, Kobe. Well done. Jason, congratulations. And I closed this way too early. Fuck me. No reason to have closed that besides I felt like didn't have the focus I needed. Again, that's kind of a me fault. I had no technical reason to close that. No technical reason to close that. Let's go. 7,500. Holy fuck. Let's go. Huge wins, guys. Well done, team. Nice work, Hank. Nice work, Brett. Boom. Yeah, a little bit of just trading our system, a little bit of not making dumb mistakes. All of a sudden, you're in pretty good shape. Hey, we'll trade what the market gives us, right? If I don't get another trade here, guys, who cares? You know, I'm up 3,700 bucks on the day. Like, I don't need to place another decision, right? Same thing like yesterday. So if I don't get another trade here, who cares? It's a great day, right? It's a great cap to a great week. So no complaints. Like Wall Street the Great, right? We get paid for our decisions, not our time. And the risk reward once you're green skews, right? Because once you're in a winning day or a winning trade, you feel like you're never gonna give away any money or you're always going to be green or everything, whatever. But look at how quickly it's now bounced back to way above where we closed our trade, right? So like there's kind of a trick and there's a balance to be had with it. But when a move happens faster than you expect, it generally makes us feel as if the move is going to keep going forever. And then it usually does this where it gives you that like really violent reversal, right? Just a moment later. And I think, Chris, there's probably only this. And then like if you were flying planes for Pablo Escobar in the 80s, those are probably the only things where you make 3K in less than an hour. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm good at two things. Two things I'm pretty good at. I'm good at trading the opening range, and I'm really good at making analogies that are so absurd that they make sense. Unfortunately, only one of those is like a good real life skill. The other one makes everyone think I'm autistic. So you kind of have to pick and choose your battles. All right, one sec, guys. I'm just gonna go fill up my cup of coffee in one moment. Jen, what was your close price when it was in the teens? Like if you closed at, I don't know, 418.50, you freaking nailed it. It's a better close than me. I closed at 40, right? So I left a lot of money on the table. Like 15 seconds later, yeah, I'm probably feeling a lot more insane, but okay, yeah, we all did, yeah. But here's the thing, right? So what I would challenge you to say is yes, it feels kind of shitty to have closed at 440, especially when it went down another 22 points in like literally 30 seconds. But you don't get that FOMO, right? Imagine how you would have felt when you could have closed at 40 or you could have closed at 18 or 28 and then it pulls back to 71.50. Imagine how shitty you're feeling at that 71.50. The probability of you making a bad decision, right? Panic closing at that point. So you didn't allow that to happen, right? Like the reason why profitable traders are profitable traders is because they're always leaving money on the table because they're closing trades before the market turns against them, right? So we should never be bitter about closing trades too early or leaving money on the table as long as our like risk metrics make sense, right? So on that trade, we had something like 9 points of risk, right? A little bit, maybe even less than that at entry for a move that went down, 40 odd points. So I don't know, your risk reward makes a lot of sense in that context. The time where I would beat yourself up, right, is if you get the your green, you see it flush, right, and then you close at like a half hour win, right? You've got 9 points of risk and you close it as a 5-point win. Okay, well now that's a panicked close. You're closing it too early. You're degrading the quality of your edge. Yeah, so like you're getting 9-to-1 risk reward on that trade. So like managing your risk, making sure the math still stays in your favor. You did a good job of that. And yeah, you left some money on the table, but you also prevented yourself from losing all your mental capital, right? So like I would rather leave a bit of cash on the table, but leave with my head still in check than needing like that roller coaster and getting more P&L validation, because getting off the P&L validation creates a lot more chaos. Let's go, David. Congratulations on getting your first funded account. Please do not place any more trades here today. Go enjoy the rest of your life. Celebrate with a nice steak or a glass of wine here this evening, whatever your thing is. Oh, well done, sir. Go enjoy it. Amazing. Yeah, I feel a little bit stupid for closing a bit early, but I don't feel bad about closing it where I did, right? If you guys know what I mean. Let's go, Eric. Love that. I'll get you there. Like there's no FOMO here this morning, right? I'm 1 for 2 and I'm up very nice on the day. If I don't place another trade here, we're chilling, right? And then just as a like another little point of reference for ourselves, right? We got out approximately 440. Price has spent more time above 440 than below it post our exit. So I think if we're looking at it from that perspective, I think we did a pretty good job at our exit price. I would have loved to have gotten an extra 20 points. Woo. But I don't think like catching that extra 20 points would have been more luck than skill, I think. So I'm not going to beat myself up for being unlucky. I already know that. So not going to hold that against myself. You guys get what I'm like, the mental gymnastics I'm doing here? You guys kind of like understand what I'm saying? Like I'm never going to hold it against myself if I don't catch the top and the bottom. That's more luck than skill. Depends, James, on the specific company. No, but Miles, that is the right way to do it, right? Because the only way you make money long-term trading is that you're the person who remains in control, right? It's when you give up that element of control in your trading that you start to get those horrific P&L swings. So the more that you obsess over, okay, did I behave how I said I was going to behave? Did I follow my rules? The more you make it easier, it's kind of a weird phrasing, but the easier you make it for future you to be profitable. So, Chris, the reason we got out of that trade, right, is because it started flushing. We went from like 460 to 440 in 3 seconds. So the move just started happening faster than we expect, right? Once a move starts happening faster than you expect, it's called the flush rule. You get out, you take that win before it reverses. Right? So that move to the downside was extremely rapid. It wasn't a controlled sell off. So those generally, right, end up being capitulation type moves versus anything else. Gary, it's funny. I'm on the wait list for that thing to be sent my way. They're I don't know. I think that the Get Bias are they're a little bit scumbaggy because they keep delaying when the production is, and they keep raising more money through Facebook ads or whatever. So like when I first signed up for it and made the payment, it was supposed to be delivered in August, and then in October, and then in December, and now it's May. So I'd probably save your money. Yeah, because they're gonna end up taking my money about 18 months before they ever end up giving me my product. So it's fuck them. Such liars. I don't know what you mean by minimizing the risk to reward. I don't know what you mean by that. The risk to reward is a ratio. So how are you minimizing the ratio, or how are you changing it? Like on that trade, our risk reward was like 1 to 8. So it's like, I don't know. Can you really get more upside than that? Yeah, but that's what you trade anyway with copiers, right? Or like that's the way you're supposed to set them up so that you're not getting that variance in risk. Like I don't really understand the question. Okay, but why would you settle for 1 to 2 when we got 1 to 8 on that trade? Like we're always trying to minimize our risk per trade anyway. So I don't really understand your question, right? You want to be safe, you size down. You don't change the risk reward. right? You go, instead of having $500 risk per trade, you go $250. But we had 8-to-1 risk reward on that trade, right? So I don't know, like what's now going to 1 to 2 isn't going to make you more money. It's actually going to cost you money. So you have some sort of mathematical fallacy in your assumption. Okay, let's see if this 5-minute candle closes as increasing volume and under 400. That would be my next setup trigger, right? So breakout through this level, then targeting 3. The 2-min and the 3-min, they looked meh, like close, but not perfect. So that's why I'm trading this or looking for this on the 5. And again, we'll just repeat that same process. Okay, good close. Targeting 300 would be the move. We want to see that little fake out over 385. Size down, Skip, right? If the mental strain of watching your P&L is too much, means that your position sizing is too big for your skill set. You need to size down so that it's a point where you don't care. Right? So the only way to get off of that thing is to get off the P&L roller coaster. The only way you get off the P&L roller coaster is if you size your trades to a point where you're not emotional about them. But would be unfair for me to say, right, that being green on a trade like that first position and then seeing it reverse and stop me out doesn't give me a reaction. You guys all heard me exclaim, right? Like, I didn't have a very positive thing to say once I got stopped out on that first trade. That's fine. It's just I'm not going to let that change my behaviors on trade number 2. Because I'm not, I'm careful how I phrase this, but I don't view myself as some sort of pussy who needs validation from his short-term feelings, right? And that's just the way I look at it internally. So, like, I don't need what happened to me in my last 30 seconds to impact or change my goals long term, right? If I fall for that nonsense, I'm just screwing myself over. Yeah, we're still looking at this on the 5, Hank. So I don't need to look at this on the 2, right? The 5-min is still in play. So why would I change my look at a different time frame now? It's still fine. Again, guys, once we have our setup and our confirmation, we don't need to be bouncing around from a million things and looking, is it this time frame? Is it that time frame? Keep it simple, right? Reduce your anxiety. You have a 5-min signal. It's not been invalidated yet. Why do we need to switch to a different time frame? As close as 84. Didn't quite give us the fake out. That's like literal definition of close but no cigar. When in a trade, I'm watching the candlesticks. If I'm judging, if I'm going to be holding a trade based on what it's showing me on a chart, why would I look at anything else? The fuck? Like, you're asking, oh, I'm annoyed by my P&L and I'm only watching my P&L. Well, yeah, no shit. Instead of focusing on the technical reasons to stay in a position, you're obsessing over the numbers. and then complaining over why you're on the P&L roller coaster when you're actively deciding to only focus on that. Makes zero sense. Help yourself, right? Proactive, not reactive. No, I'm not saying you're complaining, but I'm saying, don't you see the link, right? You're saying that you're getting tilted by the price action and all you're doing is watching the P&L. The fuck do you think is going to happen? Where's the proactive approach? I don't know. Like, in general, guys, sometimes we need to think a little bit more about how our habits are influencing our psychology, right? Like, no offense, Skip, dude, but that wasn't like some Freudian type psychological discovery. That should be a pretty easy quid pro quo, right? And no chance at this. I have to wait. Sometimes, guys, we have to just be a little bit more. See, you're giving yourself an excuse. I don't like that. Right? You're saying, like, asking yourself, why do I get so impacted by the P&L? Right? That's your question, effectively. And then all you're doing when you're in a trade is looking at the P&L. So instead of thinking, how can I be proactive and not have a P&L impact, you're asking, how can I stare at it differently? Right? Which is the wrong question. And it's like defies logic, right? Like, the word of warning here, guys, is if we're going to obsess over a number, right? We're going to ride that P&L roller coaster. Even if we solve that, then we end up creating our own bottleneck, because you have this idea in your head like, oh, I'm going to make $500 here today, or I'm going to make $1,000 here today, whatever. And then you're going to get your skill to help you make $1,000 a day or whatever your target is. And then you're going to be capped there because you put all your mental expectations, all your whatever, into it being a specific number. So now as you're able to increase your sizing, that $1,000 is going to come even faster, and you're going to have a disproportionately worse and worse reaction to it each time. And then instead of being able to scale up your trading and increase your position sizing and turn those $1,000 days into $5,000 days, you've created this artificial bottleneck for yourself that you're just going to constantly remain under. Yeah, like, we just have to be more proactive, not reactive, guys. And we have to think about the things that we do subconsciously that are actually making our lives significantly more difficult. If we're just staring at the P&L and then wondering why the P&L is bothering us, stop staring at the P&L, right? Trade the price action in front of you, not your P&L. Yeah, Ajay, your feedback is spot on. We should be focusing on what the market has given us. Going to be ranting and raving like a lunatic. All right, so we're looking at a possible reversal scenario here on the 3-min time frame. Second largest volume bar of the day, really strong looking candle. Target here would be high of day, right? Something like that. Okay, so stop loss would be 350 for now. we've already seen like a little bit of a fake out, right? Because it's made lows and now pushing up to new highs. Still reference price to be about 360. Yeah, they usually make you guys money, but they usually cost me money. Okay, so watch here, see if it fakes out under 350. Yeah, there it is. Now we want to see a strong bounce, and then we can possibly look for an entry. Starting to get gross. Definitely not a strong bounce here yet. Okay, so now you're looking at a 32 stop loss. And we'd go reference price like there-ish. And so again, right, first little third, I want to make sure that it's behaving nice and slowly. I'd say no. I think this is still going to fake out lower, so no entry here. And maybe I was wrong. And we'll wait. I'd rather be wrong on my entry, right, and not taking it than early. Let's see. Yeah, hey. Correct, but 30 seconds later. Okay, so now you're looking at 20 stop loss, 320. Oh, that's mean. I knew that was coming. Fuck. Yeah, why would I have FOMO? It never gave me a pullback into my entry zone. So the only way I would have made money chasing this trade is if I would have broken a rule. And all the evidence I have in my trading is that when I break my rules, I lose money. So why would I have any FOMO? Right? I'm not a short-term thinker. I'm playing for the bigger prize. Why would I have any FOMO? Right? Like we got to stop putting ourselves in this damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario, guys. It's killing you. Truly killing you. Because you're punishing yourself for then following your rules. How is that a good like feedback loop? That makes zero sense, right? Again, it's just a symptom of being P&L obsessed and needing validation from a number on your screen. Shit's pathetic, truth be told. Love that, Power Ninja. Congratulations. Yeah, guys, like 80% of your trading problems will be solved by sizing down your trades. The other 20% will be choosing to have a different scoreboard than the one you're currently playing against, right? And those things are all choices that are proactive, not reactive. I can tell you to make them every single day, but it's up to you if you're going to make them or not. So, I don't know. Up to you guys if you want to do it. Okay, let's see if this thing closes with some strength. Trading view replay is not a good solution. I would look back at the previous trades or the previous live streams and watch back the trades when you have the power of hindsight. But let's focus on this trade here right now, guys. I can't keep answering questions when I'm looking at a thesis. And it costs other people money, not just me. So let's tighten our shit up, please. Okay, so we're looking at like 34.50 stop loss. Call it a 34 for now. I'll do something like that, maybe as my reference price, something like that, a little bit higher, so 10 points. Nope. Everald, I'm not going to do that. I trade NQ, and I'm looking at an entry. So no, I'm not going to look at another ticker right now. Fuck off. Not dance, monkey, dance. I'm trading my strategy. I don't care that you're trading something else. Okay, so watch this pullback here, team. Nice and gentle is what we're looking for. Sweet. All right, I'm in, guys. 345.75, 345.75. Kind of a shitty entry. Come on. Okay, there's $1,000. Let's even keep pushing. Get over 60, 15. Get back. Oh, excuse me. Get back over 60. Don't like this pullback. Get back over 60. Go, go, go. There it goes. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Let's go. Keep pushing. Get through 70 now. Nice and strong. So far, so good. Come on. Okay, keep going here. Keep going so we can get through 80. Got to bounce here. Got to bounce off of 60. Okay, good bounce. So now we can get through 80. Stalling again at the mid 70s. Okay, one more attempt here. Come on. There it goes, guys. There it goes. Beautiful. All right, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Woo! Exit price $89.50. $89.50. Let's go. What a day. Woo! Everyone feeling good? Let's go, guys. Let's go. Nice work, Noah. It's a reversal thesis, right? The reversal thesis, Cole. So we were looking at this 3-min reversal, right? Based on this 1030 candle. We couldn't get an entry on there. So we just looked to see if we can get an increasing volume profile here on the 2-min. We saw one, and then we looked for our tight risk reward, and we got in. Let's go, Chuck. So again, guys, I know I'm pretty intense in protecting my focus. Like I'm literally telling someone to fuck off right before I enter this trade. But that's why, right? Because I don't need to trade anything else. I don't need anything else. So like, I'm a big believer that the specialist gets paid, right? The heart surgeon makes more than the pediatrician. So I'd rather be the heart surgeon when I'm trading. And I'm going to defend my focus quite a lot because when I trade well, man, I'm freaking good. But amazing day. Amazing. Yeah, like guys, I say this a lot, and I know I can be a bit intense sometimes, but my job here is to make you guys money, right? Oh, Ajay, be careful here, man. Please be careful. Don't do anything stupid. Go enjoy your Friday. Yeah, shut it down. Absolutely. Right? I love that, Steven. Yeah, it's like you got it in your own little head a little bit. But dude, you should be stoked. $20 away. You trade the way that you've been trading, you'll get there no problem. So the thing you don't want to do now is change anything pretty much, right? Yeah, just be smart. But yeah, everyone feeling good? My profit targets are just the opening range, right? It's the red lines or high of day or low of day. If we're outside of those, then it's these numbers that I write out in my pre-market prep. Let's go, Sonia. Congratulations. Passing your eval. Freaking love that. Yeah, I didn't like my entry either, Kath. Like if I'm being objective, right? My entry or my reference price was 44. My entry price was 44.75. So I got quite a bit of slippage on mine too. And so I felt a little bit uncomfortable with that. But yeah, when it gave me that pop up and over, finally, right, got paid out. Hey, let's go, Miles. That's great news. Lots changed in 12 hours. Amazing. Yeah, you too, man. Enjoy. Have a little celebration for yourself. But welcome to being a full-time trader, man. Congratulations. Everyone green? Happy Friday for everyone, yeah? Amazing, guys. Good. Good. Oh, Will? Let's go. Again, right? We don't let our greed trick us into holding stuff for longer than we should. Yeah, right click. Sounds like you don't have live market data. Right? So you need to purchase live market data. Otherwise, you're going to be 10 minutes behind my price. Yeah, there's your answer right there. Go through the courses, right? The first course in the platform tells you exactly how to set up your trading view. So all the resources you need are already available to you. Take advantage of them. Like the number one rule, right, of showing up to this live stream is be prepared. A lack of preparation is a surefire way to get your ass kicked. So take that seriously, right? Be prepared is the number one rule for a reason. Don't cheat yourself. You're going to make a lot less money if you don't know what's going on than if you just spent 90 minutes learning some basics and setting up your accounts. Hey, my pleasure, Joshua. Like I say this all the time, but I do this because I think it makes me a better trader. And I love it. I do truly love it, guys. It's intense. I be a bit of a grump sometimes, but it is my favorite thing I do in the world. I honestly wouldn't change it for anything else. And it's so much fun having a team that we all win together. It's the best. So that's 3,600 per account STM. So like 13K day or something like that. Almost 16K, like 15 something, 14 something. Woo! Let's fucking go. Amazing. Amazing. And that's going to put our team profits on the week here to be, I don't know, probably like 600K now, maybe more. Not bad, guys. Not bad for a team. Not freaking bad. Oh, yeah, I've got 8 prop firm accounts, and then I've got my interactive brokers, my little family fund. Love that, big dog. And yeah, it is just practice good habits, right? Build that muscle memory. Because I mean, like, I'm going to lose a lot over the course of my career. And if you're lucky to trade for the rest of your life, you're going to have a lot of losses left in your trading too. So the hard thing is basically not changing your behaviors after a losing day, right? Or after a losing trade. That's the hard thing. But that's the thing to focus on, right? Because it's the consistency of behaviors that gets you paid more than anything else. So Joel, it really depends on each individual person. Um, like, I think it should be everyone's goal to build up a personal account, right? Because your biggest risk with prop firms is that you lose access to the capital, right? So you can remove that risk by having more capital to trade with, right? So let's say hypothetically in 5 years' time, we get Kamala Harris in power, and she's one of her donors is anti-prop firm, and all of a sudden, all this legislation comes in, and prop firms cease to exist. You know, what are you going to do then, right? You want to have like your own money that you can trade. Like, the way that I view it is, or the way that I do it personally. I mean, look, it could happen, right? 100% could. You want to be realistic, right? That's your biggest risk. Your biggest risk is regulation or shitty operators of these companies. So how can you protect yourself against that? Okay, you have your own capital to trade that no one can tell you what to do with. So that for me is important. Look, the way that I look at it with these prop firms is they allow me to pay myself and have like a pretty nice lifestyle from them without having to touch my principal, right? Or without having to touch my main accounts. So instead of having to pay myself from my personal account or the family fund that I trade, I'm able to constantly just reinvest that into long-term positions, into long-term holdings, whatever. And then with my prop firms, right? 15, 20 grand a month I spend on just lifestyle stuff, or like my mortgage, or my like car insurance, whatever, right? I can take that from my prop firms, and then whatever's left over back into reinvesting into the market. So the more that you can create those like opportunities where you can compound and you can build nice stuff, then the more powerful these prop firms become. But if you're just making every dollar, spending every dollar, and then not building that like reserve, you just set yourself up for a lot of risk. So everyone's objective should be to pay yourselves as much as possible with these prop firms. Make the money real. And then, yeah, live your best life. Yeah, if we find something here, AJ, maybe. I'm up about $7,500 on the day per account so far. kind of in that range. We'll have to see. This has a chance to be a capitulation candle. So, I mean, you can see that in your stats, right, CD? So, I mean, today excluded, my win rates per trade type. So, 64% on ORB breakouts, 67% win rate on ORB breakdowns, 44% win rate on bullish reversals, 43% win rate on bearish reversals. Yeah, Sonia, end of day. End of day, you'll get it like 4 o'clock Eastern-ish. Let me see. If you just go to your dashboard, CD, there's right under your main P&L, there's a thing called ORB performance. And it tells you all your stats there based on what type of trade it was. Oh, Sonia, no reason to apologize. You're good. So, Ajay, as much as I would like to take a trade here, I'm not going to. Largest volume of the day at 11 a.m. This screams capitulation or like it's bad, but it's like a death howl of the market. So like fundamentally, this should be a good candle, but just time of day and then the fuck you of volume, I'm good. Like I'm 2 for 3, nicely green on the session. I don't need to do anything else. I mean, I'd have to do some pretty stupid decision making to go red here at this point. But no, I like walking away at all-time highs. I know, call me old-fashioned. I don't know, like Profile X, it is impressive and it isn't. Like I used to work at a pretty big hedge fund, and I was responsible, one of 2 guys who was on the US trading desk. And we had I don't know, maybe 1,500 names in our tradable universe. And every day for 7 years, I'd be managing 45 to 50 trades a day, all with their own executions, all with their own order windows, all with their whatever. So you just get used to it, right? Yeah, that's a great question. So, like when I was at a hedge fund, or when I worked at a hedge fund, like my job was trade execution, right? So I didn't be like, "Oh, NQ selling off here, let me jump in and go short," right? It wasn't like that. It was, okay, our portfolio manager is giving us an instruction. We want to buy Apple at 278 and hold it till 285 or whatever it is, right? So you'd get some sort of instruction along those lines. My job then was to basically outperform those instructions. So if my instruction was to buy $40 million of Apple at 278 and I got 40 million at 277.60, then the difference in those 40 cents would be added to my bonus pool, and I would get a percentage of that at the end of the year. So if I outperformed the executions, i.e., I added an edge to their executions, I would get paid more. Now, if I got a fill at 278.13 and my instruction was 278, right? That 13-cent difference gets pulled from my bonus pool. So it's more being called a capitulation candle just because of the time of day more than anything else. You want a deep dive on how they think? Read the book Inside the Little Black Box. Basically talks to you about how they set up all their algorithms and systems and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to make, guys, a tutorial or a video that's like, oh, hedge funds think like this, because my experience is working with one hedge fund, and it was a family office of just one individual's money. So like all I know is them. So that type of content would just be more confusing to people than it would be valuable. So if you want any info like that, I'm sure there's lots on YouTube or lots of books. I'm probably not the reference there. Like being a trader at a hedge fund, like I started working there when I was 20 years old. So it's not what it used to be. Like pre 2008, before the financial crisis. Like there were a lot more positions that were risk taking. These days at hedge funds, all the risk is now taken by only the senior professionals to a certain extent. Like I didn't really have the opportunity to to do whatever. Yeah, I mean, look, this guy, the guy who I worked for, he was like very old money rich, like crazy old money rich. So he was from a place called Guernsey, which is where the fund was and where I lived. And his family is like old money rich. The reason why they became so affluent was in like the, I don't know, 1400s or 1500s, or I don't remember the year. But the King of England was sailing from England to France, and his ship got like I don't know, like crossed a rock or something like that, and it started leaking, and he started sinking. And Peter's ancestors went out and rescued the King of England and brought him back to Guernsey. Because of that, because they saved the king's life, the king was like, as a favor for you saving my life and saving the invasion of France, we're going to make this place tax free, and you have exclusive rights to trade spices from the continent to England. And so that's how they made all their money. 700 or 500 years later, that then becomes a hedge fund and an F1 team. So kind of funny how that works. So it was, proper old money by king's decree. Well, yeah, it's kind of bullshit where like when there's like a literal museum in Guernsey that's like in thanks to the Duputron family. And like in our orientation, like my first week, we had to go to this museum and learn the history and suck this guy's dick over how impressive he was. And yeah, he was Peter was an interesting guy to work for. He would haggle you so hard on your bonus. It was unbelievable. Like if you got more than like $2,000 than what he offered you, he like wouldn't talk to you for a week. Like what a dick. The biggest thing though, like I don't think that they work necessarily differently. Probably not the right way to describe it. But he was so ruthless and constantly protecting his edge, right? And any form of slippage to him was unacceptable. So I think that's a big reason why like I execute trades the way that I do. Because if I click submit and I thought I was getting a fill at 207.50 and I got a fill at 210.50, right? 3 points of slippage, I would have a meeting with my portfolio manager that evening and he'd be yelling at me over how sloppy I am. Like it was literally the thing that they cared about the most, more than anything. So those lessons get like really poked into you. Yeah, it was a fun place to work. Yeah, but 3 points when you're got $11 billion at risk. A huge difference, right? That's millions of dollars. Like I spent, 7 years working there. It influenced how I trade significantly. Oh, it worked for me. I'd rather be too specific and know exactly the price I'm getting than not. So it is a good obsession to have. Yeah. There's a good Bloomberg article about what he's like. But my first introduction to him, probably my second or third week at the office, and I have no fucking clue what's going on yet. Like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And he came up to me. He's really tall. He's like 6'4", maybe 6'5", tall and skinny. And he was wearing his like cycling spandex, really tight cycling spandex, and he put his leg up on the desk or on the desk, kind of like to my left. So his nuts were right at my eye level, and he was just grilling me on what we were doing strategy wise. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, Peter, what are you doing? It was so uncomfortable. I was so nervous. Oh, what a weirdo. But then yeah, once you kind of passed his shit tests, he was a pretty good boss. Like I make it sound like a lot of XYZ, but I really enjoyed working there. The only reason I left was because of Brexit and because Guernsey was the worst place in the world. All right, guys. Enough. Yeah, it was really fun. Really fun place to learn when you're like early 20s. It was like the worst place to be with the social life when you're in your early 20s, but it is what it is. And making no, not a happening spot at all. But yeah, it was tax free. Like I didn't have income tax for 7 years, and that set me up really well. So, can't really complain. All right, guys, I'm going to go final call for questions here. Final call for questions. No? Everyone good on the day? Oh, and then just so you guys know, right? Just I have added the stream replays. So if you click the live stream tab, there should be a replay channel with all the live streams. And then the next tab over should be all my trades. You guys will be able to see that as well, right? All right, beautiful, guys. Well, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up. Nope, in the stream tab. In the stream tab. All right, you click stream. It says live stream, trade replays, trade recaps, or something like that. All right, guys. See you on Monday.